USS Mississippi, a New Mexico-class battleship, was the third ship of the United States Navy named in honor of the 20th state, and the second battleship to carry the name. Commissioned in 1917, too late to serve in World War I, she served extensively in the Pacific in World War II, for which she earned 8 battle stars. She was one of several pre-war battleships that participated in the Battle of Surigao Strait, the last battleship engagement in history. After the war, her 2 sisters were quickly decommissioned and scrapped, but Mississippi continued to serve another decade as a weapons testing ship. She played an important role in the development of the RIM-2 Terrier missile system. After an attempt to acquire her as a museum ship failed, she was sold for scrap in 1956. Construction and commissioning. Her keel was laid down on the 5th of April 1915 by Newport News Shipbuilding Company of Newport News, Virginia. She was launched on the 25th of January 1917, sponsored by Miss Camille McBeath, daughter of the chairman of the Mississippi State Highway Commission, and commissioned on the 18th of December 1917. Captain J.L. Jane in command. World War I service. The ship was commissioned too late to participate in combat during World War I. Following exercises off Virginia, Mississippi steamed on the 22nd of March 1918 for training in the Gulf of Guacanayabo, Cuba. 1 month later, she returned to Hampton Roads and cruised between Boston, Massachusetts, and New York City until departing for winter maneuvers in the Caribbean Sea on the 31st of January 1919. Interwar period. On the 19th of July 1919, she left the Atlantic seaboard and sailed for the West Coast. Arriving at her new base, San Pedro, California, she operated along the West Coast for the next 4 years, entering the Caribbean during the winter months for training exercises. 2 of the original 14 5-inch 51 cal guns were removed in 1922. In 1923, Mississippi was used as part of a public exercise with members of Congress and reporters from the various newspapers. Watched as Mississippi sank the old Spanish-American War-era battleship Iowa, which had been converted to a radio-controlled target ship, with her cannons, in the Gulf of Panama. During gunnery practice on the 12th of June 1924 off San Pedro, 48 of her men were asphyxiated as a result of an explosion in her No. 2 main battery turret. On the 15th of April 1925, she sailed from San Francisco, California, for war games off Hawaii, and then steamed to Australia on a goodwill tour. She returned to the West Coast on the 26th of September, and resumed operations for the next 4 years. During this period, she frequently sailed into Caribbean and Atlantic waters for exercises during the winter months. Mississippi entered Norfolk Navy Yard on the 30th of March 1931 for a modernization overhaul. This overhaul significantly changed the ship's profile by removing the original fore and aft lattice mast. The former was replaced with a tower. Modernization also included replacement of earlier 3-inch 50 cal anti-aircraft guns with 8 5-inch 25 cal guns. She departed once again on training exercises in September 1933. Transients the Panama Canal on the 24th of October 1934. She steamed back to her base at San Pedro. For the next 7 years, she operated off the West Coast, except for winter Caribbean cruises. World War II service. Returning to Norfolk, Virginia on the 16th of June 1941, she prepared for patrol service in the North Atlantic. Steaming from Newport, Rhode Island, she escorted a convoy to Hvalfjordur, Iceland. She made another trip to Iceland on the 28th of September, and spent the next 2 months protecting shipping. 2 days after the attack on Pearl Harbor, Mississippi left Iceland for the Pacific. Arriving on the 22nd of January 1942 at San Francisco, she spent the next 7 months training and escorting convoys along the coast. Beginning in May 1942, the original 5-inch, 51 cal guns of the secondary battery were removed to make room for anti-aircraft machine guns. On the 6th of December, after participating in exercises off Hawaii, she steamed with troop transports to the Fiji Islands, returning to Pearl Harbor on the 2nd of March 1943. On the 10th of May, she sailed from Pearl Harbor to participate in a move to restore the Aleutian Islands to the United States. Kiska Island was shelled on the 22nd of July, and a few days later the Japanese withdrew. After overhaul at San Francisco, Mississippi sailed from San Pedro on the 19th of October to take part in the invasion of the Gilbert Islands. While bombarding Macon on the 20th of November, a turret explosion, almost identical to the earlier tragedy, killed 43 men. On the 31st of January 1944, she took part in the Marshall Islands campaign, shelling Kwajalein. She bombarded Tarawa on the 20th of February, and struck Wathieu the next day. On the 15th of March, she pounded Kavieng, New Ireland. Due for an overhaul, she spent the summer months at Puget Sound. This overhaul increased the number of 5-inch, 25 cal guns from 8 to 14. Returning to the war zone, Mississippi supported landings on Peleliu, in the Palau Islands on the 12th of September. After a week of continuous operations, she steamed to Manus, where she remained until the 12th of October. Departing Manus, she assisted in the liberation of the Philippines, shelling the east coast of Leyte on the 19th of October. On the night of the 24th of October, as part of Rear Admiral Jesse Oldendorf's battle line, she helped to destroy a powerful Japanese task force at the Battle of Surigao Strait. Mississippi herself fired the final salvo in history by a battleship against other warships. As a result of the engagements at Leyte Gulf, the Japanese Navy was no longer able to mount any serious offensive threat. Her gunfire contributed to the sinking of the Japanese battleship Yamashiro. Mississippi continued to support the operations at Leyte Gulf until the 16th of November, when she steamed to the Admiralty Islands. She then entered San Pedro Bay, Leyte on the 28th of December, to prepare for the landings on Luzon. On the 6th of January 1945, she began bombarding in Lingayen Gulf. Despite damages near her waterline received from the crash of a kamikaze, she supported the invasion forces until the 10th of February. Following repairs at Pearl Harbor, she sailed to Nakagasuku 1, Okinawa, arriving on the 6th of May to support the landing forces there. Her powerful guns destroyed the defenses at Shuri Castle, which had stalled the entire offensive. On the 5th of June, another kamikaze crashed into her starboard side, but the fighting ship continued to support the troops at Okinawa until the 16th of June. After the announced surrender of Japan, Mississippi steamed to Sagami 1, Honshu, arriving on the 27th of August as part of the support occupation force. She anchored in Tokyo Bay, witnessed the signing of the surrender documents, and steamed for home on the 6th of September. Post-war, Mississippi arrived on the 27th of November 1945 at Norfolk, where she underwent conversion to an auxiliary ship, retaining her original name but reclassified as AG 128, effective the 15th of February 1946. As part of the development force, she spent the last 10 years of her career carrying out investigations of gunnery problems and testing new weapons. While based at Norfolk, she helped launch the Navy into the age of the guided missile warship when she successfully test-fired the Terrier missile on the 28th of January 1953 off Cape Cod. She also assisted in the final evaluation of the Petrel missile, a radar homing weapon, in February 1956. She was succeeded in her missile testing role by Norton Sound. Mississippi was decommissioned at Norfolk, Virginia on 17 September 1956. It was proposed that the state of Mississippi convert the ship as a museum at sea, in the same way that the South Dakota-class battleship USS Alabama in Mobile, Alabama and USS North Carolina in Wilmington, North Carolina operate, but these plans were not carried out. Instead, the Bethlehem Steel Company purchased the ship as scrap metal on 28 November of the same year. Awards: World War I Victory Medal, American Defense Service Medal with Fleet Clasp, American Campaign Medal, European African Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, Asiatic Pacific Campaign Medal with 8 battle stars, World War II Victory Medal, Navy Occupation Medal, National Defense Service Medal. Her bell is securely installed in the gardens at Rosalie Mansion on the site of Fort Rosalie overlooking the Mississippi River in Natchez, Mississippi.